Hey, hi, welcome once again. And now let us go ahead and take a look at the Zuul and Hystrix. So till now we have worked with uh, Cloud Config Server, we have worked with Eureka, and we have seen inventory and product microservice in action, right? So let us kind of close all the tabs and see what we have done, what configurations and what dependencies we have used for Zuul. So you can see in dependencies for the Zuul, we have parent set to 2.1.5 release, and the description seems to be wrong. Uh, Zuul proxy, and the Spring Cloud version is greenwich.sr1, and we are using Netflix Eureka client, yes. And for Zuul, we are using dependency Spring Cloud starter Netflix Zuul, right? And dev tools we have used nothing else, nothing new. So if you go and take a look at the main entry point, that's the only thing over here. One is main entry point and one is your application.properties or YML, right? So in here we have used the annotation called at the enable Zuul proxy. That is important, right? And if you go and take a look at the application.properties, that's where the real magic is happening. So server.port for the Zuul is 8080. Zuul prefix is shop. That is for all the microservices which I would be mapping in here. The prefix will be shop. So it would be more or less like this. If I would want to type it over here, um, HTTP local host 8080 slash shop. When I access this REST endpoint, in fact, I am accessing the Zuul. Now, now this product microservice is the Spring application name for the product microservice. And this inventory microservice is the Spring application name for the inventory microservice, right? So if you, so now, whenever I want to work with any REST points defined inside the product microservice, it would be more or less like slash product slash asterisk asterisk. That means all the REST endpoints defined inside the product microservice. Now, why are these two mapped? Because we have said Zuul.roots.product ms. This, see this. These both are same, right? That means that whatever this Spring application name points to, for them, all the rest endpoints are defined via slash product. That means it should become HTTP localhost 8080 slash shop slash product slash asterisk asterisk. That means all here you can say a root endpoint or slash all or slash p001 in that way, right? And in the same way for the inventory microservice, it will be I do lots of in between when I say when I speak, right? So here it will be inventory, right? Because here it is inventory, and whatever be the rest endpoint you want to use over here. So let's kind of go and run it and see how it all works. I click run as Spring Boot app. Oh, fingers crossed to make it sure that it works fine. Starting. So Zuul has started out at 8080. That's fine. And since we are have specified the default zone over here, it should go and register itself with the Eureka as well. So if you go and take a look at the Eureka, where is it? Eureka should be over here. If I go and take a look at the Eureka, right? So we have the common entry point defined over here. You can see. Oops, what is this? Why did it come in between? Okay. So you can see common entry point defined over here. So now if I go and say rather than saying localhost 9991 slash p004, that is working, that's fine, that will work. But if I say localhost 8080, that's where Zuul proxy is running, then we have shop, right? Shop, then a specific microservice endpoint. So product, if I say slash, it will display refreshed for from the local git repo, that's the welcome.message. And if I say p002, for example, it will display the response coming from the REST endpoint coming when we call p002, which in turn is also calling the inventory microservice, right? So as in case of inventory microservice, when the product microservice is calling the inventory microservice, that is in the DAO class, we have defined this string URL, right, which is pointing directly to the uh, localhost 9992. That's where the inventory microservice is running. If I comment it out and use this string URL wherein it says localhost 8080 slash shop slash inventory slash code, like whatever it is, as per the configuration done by the Zuul. So ideally it should work, right? So let us kind of save it all, wait for this code to recompile. Okay, looks like it is done. It's not that yet done. I speak lots of like whenever I speak lots of I speak like something like that comes in between, right? That's not good. So it's all done. If I can go and check now, shop product P002 or let's say P004, all working fine. So everything Zuul and all those things are working fine, right? So there's nothing more in Zuul other than this. Now let's go ahead and explore Hystrix as well. So with Zuul running, I will go ahead and explore Hystrix. So for work, we use Hystrix to work with the fallback, right? Let's say if you want to define the fallback methods and all those things, that's where Hystrix comes into picture. We would want to use Hystrix if you want to go ahead and work with the dashboard or monitor the all the REST endpoints, which whatever we have configured, or the methods, or if we want to monitor all the methods which we have configured in that way. So for while working with Hystrix, we have starter Netflix Hystrix as a dependency. And since I wanted to create a dashboard, so I have also included the dependencies Spring Cloud, starter Netflix Hystrix dashboard. Apart from that, all other dependencies are seen, right? So and in source main Java, that is in the Spring application entry point, we have used the annotation at the rate enable Hystrix dashboard, that because we wanted to use the dashboard. So, and in application.properties, nothing as such. Client registry fetch registry is set to true, port is 8081, and default zone is set. Nothing as such, nothing new. So let me go ahead and run this Hystrix dashboard. Run as Spring Boot app. Started, huh? Okay, Hystrix dashboard started. So if you go and take a look at the Eureka, where is the Eureka? Eureka, here is the Eureka. It should also display the Hystrix dashboard, right? And since we have not configured the actuator and all those things for the Hystrix dashboard, so actuator REST endpoint won't work. All this kind of this hyperlinks won't work except for the product microservice, because we have defined the actuator only for the product microservice. We have not defined the actuator for the remaining three components. Right? One of them is microservice. So if I go over there, sorry for that. If I go to the local host, what was the Hystrix dashboard port? 8081, right? 8081. So let me go to the local host 8081 slash Hystrix. That is what will display the Hystrix dashboard. So now let's say, what do we want to monitor? We want to monitor the uh, product microservice. We can in fact monitor only the product microservice, because what we monitor should implement the actuator, and actuator is implemented only by the product microservice, right? So we can monitor only product microservice. So let me say something like this: http localhost. What is the port on which product microservice is running? 9991, right? Okay. And what is the actuator endpoint? All the actuator endpoints will start with localhost 99, no, not 9991. The product microservice actuator is running at 1234. I was about to do the mistake again. And the rest endpoint is ACTUAT or actuator. And then I have to say something like HYSYSTRIX Hystrix.stream. That's where the stream will come from. So let's go ahead and monitor the stream, right? So here we have it. We have the graph for get product by code. So get product by code is the method implemented inside the product DAO of the product microservice, right? So if I open the product DAO of the product microservice, here we have implemented the get product by code method, right? And for this one, we have used something like @hystrix command. The fallback method is get product by code fallback. In case if this function is unable to do, this method is unable to do what it is expected to do, if it gets delayed, if it is not able to communicate with the inventory microservice, then the specific fallback method would come into picture, and ideally it should go and return some empty temp product or something like that, because it is this get product by code is returning the temp product, right? So if it falls back, it should return some dummy product, and that is what we can check in the logic. So minimum timeout is 2000 milliseconds, so it will wait for 2000 milliseconds before the fallback method comes into action, right? But anyways, it never gets the execution of the same never gets more than 2000 milliseconds, that is 2 seconds. So fallback method never gets called. But let us go and check. So if I go and say something like this, let me kind of bring it over here. And for this guy, let me bring it over here. If I say localhost product p004, see, if I'm calling it, there is a spike of 1, right? Uh, if I call for p003, you will get the chart displayed for this get product by code only because we have defined the fallback method only for the same. If we define the fallback method for the remaining methods, we should get the chart for all of them as well, right? P001. We keep on calling them, the chart will keep on increasing. So in short, that's all about what you call Hystrix and Zuul. And in product microservice, inside the Spring application entry point, since we are using the fallback method, so we should go ahead and use the annotation @enable circuit breaker, right? So I suppose that is all for the microservices and the way we have configured Hystrix and Joule. Much more can be done, but since this was the beginner session, people who are new to the microservices and all, that's the reason we have not touched down on certain advanced concepts. And in next videos, what we will do is we will deploy these microservices in the Docker running in this machine, right? So we have the Docker available over here. I have installed the Docker toolbox, right? So I would be starting it, and I will be deploying the microservices. So that is all the uh, cloud config, Eureka, product, inventory, Zuul and Hystrix in the Docker as a container, and I will run it from there, right? So we'll deploy them. And since the database is H2, there is no, you know, we need not to deploy any MySQL database or something. H2 is embedded, so it will get deployed along with the Spring Boot application. So that's all for now. Any queries, please ask in the comment window. All the code is available. The links are given in the description. Have a good time. Good luck and happy learning.